been charged, he's been arrested, he's a criminal defendant now. Let the process work. Let's not prejudge anyone any longer. Let's just let the process work.
That was George Zimmerman's new attorney just a little while ago. Zimmerman's in custody tonight, charged with second-degree murder in the death of unarmed teenager Trayvon Martin. And tonight, the shooter's brother is speaking out. Joining me now exclusively is Robert Zimmerman Jr. Robert, thank you for coming back on the show. We spoke, obviously, a couple of weeks ago. Dramatic developments today. What is your reaction and the family's reaction to the arrest and the charging of your brother George?
Pierce, obviously, as a family, we're devastated. I will say we're a strong family, and we have been living a somewhat altered reality for quite some time, and we have had to prepare ourselves for an outcome such as this, a possibility such as this. It is one of the outcomes or possibilities at this stage in our system, but we are devastated. I'm not the only family member speaking out because George doesn't have hundreds of family members who would love to speak out. I'm just the only one who right now can. For my family's safety, that being the first and foremost consideration in all of this, for my safety, you know, for joining you via satellite and not disclosing everywhere I am, having lived like that, there were no winners in this already. And the only silver lining in all of this is that my brother is safe. For our family, that's the only respite we'll get tonight when we lay our heads down to sleep, is that we'll know that our brother is safe.
I mean, we have a picture on screen, as you were speaking there, Robert, of your brother tonight, his official police mugshot. Clearly, I would imagine this is the worst-case scenario for you because they've thrown the book at him. He could have been freed, no charges, no action taken. It could have been a manslaughter charge, but no, they've gone for second-degree murder, which has a potential sentence at the end of it of life imprisonment. How do you feel about the fact it's been such a tough charge?
Well, I agree. They have thrown the book at them. Miss Corey's office has. We're disappointed. I mean, as you would expect any family to be disappointed. However, as I've said, we realized early on in this process that there were groups, organizations, individuals who were not satisfied with any part of the answers that were given by pertinent parties in the investigation at the time, such as the police. You know, they didn't like that answer. He had to go. The police chief I'm referring to, Chief Lee. They didn't like the answer of the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. They didn't like the first prosecutor. They were starting to not. Apparently, the congresswoman from Mr. Martin's district was voicing concern about this prosecutor. We are a family who respects the system. We understand there are many rungs in the wheel of justice, and this is one of the characters, the players, the prosecutor. You know, the prosecutor's thrown the book. Sometimes prosecutors do that because they're hoping in some semblance of justice or some appearance of justice that someone will plead down or somebody will take some deal. It's a shot in the dark tactic. Prosecutors have many tactics. I would have hoped the more courageous tactic, which would have just been simply to say, we're not prosecuting and here's why, would have been consistent with what everyone else has said up until this point. It was not the outcome. This is an unfortunate outcome, but we're a strong family. We are prepared for it, and we're prepared for the rest of our American justice system to have its say in what ultimately should work out in the end to exonerate my brother.
When did you last speak to George? When did you last see him?
Right. Pierce, for security reasons, I can narrow that window down to about 10 days. Would be the last that I would be willing to say that I spent one or more days with him. So we were actually together. I can't say where, you know, or what we discussed about. We were together, did things that brothers do, enjoyed spending time as a family. George was not himself at the time. Obviously, he's under a tremendous amount of pressure, but he has a strong family that supports him and has been in hiding. And it was good to be with him. But as I made clear from the first interview, before any of these marches, before any of these rallies, before the Congressional Black Caucus, weighed in, before the NAACP jumped in. George was not right from this. From the moment he communicated that to our family before my first appearance on this broadcast with you, he was not right from the incident. There was no winner in this. You know, us as a family viewed it as our brother could have been dead. Our brother literally had to save his life by taking a life, and that's no situation that anybody wants to ever be in, ever.
What would you describe George's state of mind? You said that clearly he's been suffering. That's to be expected. You spent time with him. You spent more than a day with him. And although some people have tried to question your closeness to your brother, you know, he's your only brother, you've told me before this interview that you spent considerable amounts of time with him through January and February due to family health issues involving your grandmother and your father. Tell me about your relationship with George. Tell me about how he has changed as a brother since you saw him in January, February, post this incident.
You know, without getting into too many health details about other members of our family, you know, it was our father and grandmother had health emergencies. My brother really stepped up to the plate. We were in the hospital every day with one or both of them, caring for them, spending time together as brothers, as a family, as we knew our duty is as the two brothers of the family to step up to protect our parents. And that's what, you know, we consider our grandmother one of our parents. We have two parents, but we were raised by our, helped out by our maternal grandmother at home. She stayed at home and she raised us. And we are a strong family. We came together when we needed to. George and I are very close. We love each other very much. He knows that. I'm very proud of him for handling, you know, despite what his attorneys came out on camera said yesterday, or anybody questioning his mental state. There are things, obviously, at every point of this that we don't know. He may have actually already been in contact with the prosecutor's office simply more than, you know, for one reason or another, maybe to turn himself in. We don't know a lot of things, but I'm proud that he did the right thing, which is what his original attorney had said he would do. George will turn himself in. There will be no manhunt. There will be no spectacle or show. That he is now a participant in this system.
Let me ask you, Robert, about the attorney situation, because the two attorneys that he had, who I interviewed in a rather fractious interview on this show, I think showed themselves in pretty grim colours yesterday with this absurd press conference and have continued behaving like a bunch of sort of Blues Brother celebrities over all this, cheapening, in my view, what is a very serious situation. How do you and the family feel about their behaviour? Are you confident that George now has appropriate representation? Are you concerned about that?
Our concerns go in the order, first and foremost, obviously, of safety for his life, then his well-being, then is our life and our well-being. Now we are, from what I have seen of George's representation so far, I can speak for myself. I'm fairly confident that he's being competently represented. This attorney has a very well-established reputation in that area, and our concern has always been, you know, in that order. Always first for his safety. We are relieved that he's safe. That is the, you know, it's the most bittersweet news to hear in your life, that your brother is being charged with a murder, and to see him being taken in to jail on live TV, and to somehow have to think, well, at least there's something good in all of that, is that he can't be attacked this way, or he most likely can't be, you know, hurt, killed, injured in a way that he has been on the run and underground in the streets for quite some time.
Let's take a short break here, Robert. When we come back, I want to get back to the night of the shooting. I want to go over again with you in detail exactly what happened.